I do. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? I seem to say that quite a bit, though. Yeah, everyone's been going on about YouTube fatigue at the minute. I spend more time with YouTube fatigue than I do without it, so I just not really. Well, it's been kind of like a sort of culmination of not really having any time to go up in my room for the month of May. I'm not, saying that's a bad thing, but between like commitments with Susie and bank holidays and stuff, I don't really get any time at all to come up and sit in here in this room and do anything. I've been trying not to buy stuff. Trying not to is the operative word, because as you'll see in a minute, failed on that mission, haven't I? So I just haven't really had time to come up and film anything. I'm not really had anything interesting to say. I'm not the type who'd make little mini documentaries and stuff, because I just don't feel like anyone really cares about what I have to say about anything. So I haven't really had anything to share with you guys, but I've amassed a small pile of pickups. I've shared a fair few of it on Instagram, but not all of it. But I thought I'd just, crap together a 5-minute video, a 20-minute video for 5 people to watch about what I've been buying when I've not supposed to have been buying. The reason I wasn't supposed to have been buying is because I had 3 markets lined up. There's the Doncaster one this weekend, and then in August there's Barnsley and Sheffield, but I've decided I'm not going to Doncaster. Nobody else is going. It's going to be a boring walk around by myself again, and it's just a pain in the arse. It's like 2 trams and a train each way, and it's just a pain in the arse to make. No, a tram, a train, and a bus each way, should I say? At the minimum, maybe 2 trams and a train and a bus each way. So it's kind of a pain in the arse to make the trip. So I've decided against it, just to to get all the way over there and then just walk around by myself, not enjoy it, not pick up anything, and then come back again and make the same trip back. So yeah, I've decided against that one, and I'm on the fence about Barnsley, even though the extortionate £11 tickets to get to for the early bird stuff, which I think has worked out against them really, because I think this is the first Barnsley one. At least in recent memory. I think they might have done one in the past, but sorry for any background noise, by the way, I've got the window open. But yeah, they're charging £11 a head for the early bird tickets, and I think it might have worked against them a little bit, because now they're doing them for buy one get one free, but there's no way to get a refund on your ticket and rebook. So I've spunked out £11 on a ticket to a show I might not even go to, but although Sean is picking me up for that one. So I mean, Barnsley is, I think it's in the centre, so it is mildly more easier to get to than Doncaster for me. But the Sheffield one, it's just going to be a hop on a tram, and I'm there half an hour on tram, and there and back, and it's I've been wanting a Sheffield gaming market for ages. We're like the 3rd biggest or something city in the UK, and we haven't had a gaming market. We've got like the whole little gaming thing with the video games museum. There's a little gaming cafe. There's a friggin' esports bar all around, just in that little area. It makes so much sense for them to do a game market there. It's bang across the road from where they're doing it as well. Bang across the road from CEX. Because there's usually a little pilgrimage to CEX after a Doncaster market as well. So yeah, it makes so much sense for the Sheffield market to be there, and I'm really looking forward to that one, even if nobody else goes, which I don't think anybody is. But at least me and Sean are going to go to Barnsley, possibly, if I feel like it. I think there's also an arcade club trip to Bury being arranged on the same day for some of the tubers. I'm not interested in that, but honestly, if Sean decides he wants to go to that instead, I'm not going to be mad, because I'll just not go to Barnsley. But if anybody is going to any of those shows and wants to kind of those markets and wants to kind of like sway me towards going, then please do so. Gabby's made herself known. Gabby.
A few moments later.
So yeah, we'll get on to pickups then, shall we? There's a little bit, I'd say I wasn't supposed to be buying stuff. I have sort of picked up the odd bit here and there. I've had a nice little package from Ross at Bohar Gaming, formerly known as Xbox 360 Collector, and still known as that on some platforms. Yeah, and he sent me a nice little package. I've got a little bit of hardware, a little bit of software, and a new system, which you can probably guess what it is already, because it's probably in the thumbnail, to be honest, but it's the same system everyone's been buying. So Gabby's just turned up, so she'll probably chip in at some point. There we go. So, what? You've got some dreamies. She's excitable because we've not been sat up here for a while and she likes sitting up here with me. Yeah, tuck into your dreamies. Yeah, I'll start with a little bit of hardware. We bought this, well, Susie bought this actually, quite a long time ago, but I just completely forgot to include it in the pickup video, I think, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, because I think I forgot to put this in a video, but I might have put it in by accident. That's this deep pink Xbox 360 controller. This is just the box, I'm afraid, because the actual one's in use downstairs. Susie's playing Oblivion, I believe it is, while I'm sat up here today, so she's been playing that, and before that she was playing Avowed, and she wanted a nice pink controller to play it with. We've already got the purple one to match it, because they've both got got a coloured front and then a white back, which looks really cool. We like to keep one charging and one in use on each console, so yeah, that means like we've got the pink and the purple one, so that means that we have a spare one. So now I've got the black one up here for use with my ROG Ally, which is nice, and I've bought myself a little single, I'm not going to show this off because it's boring, but I bought myself a little single controller dock to keep it charging. So yeah, I've got that hooked up to my Ally, and it's nice to I was streaming my Xbox from downstairs to my Ally and playing it up here and playing a bit of WWE, and it worked really well. The only problem is streaming the PlayStation, because the Ally's onboard controls are set to Xbox and you've got the Xbox controller. The official PlayStation app won't register with it, won't recognise an Xbox controller. Sorry, I'm just keeping an eye on Gabby because the window's open and I don't want her to escape. But I've got a PlayStation controller up here for use with the PlayStation app. There's also a third-party app, I can't remember what it's called, but with that one you can use the onboard controls, which is great for playing it handheld. Anyway, I digress. I was going to make a video about... Well, maybe I wasn't. I was going to make a video possibly about, my thoughts after... It was going to be 6 months with the Ally, but now it's more like about 7-8 months since I got it. But that'll probably never come because nothing I do ever does. Go for a coke? No. So yeah, package from Ross. He sent me a message, because we tend to converse through the 52 game challenge chat, the Club 52 chat, but we haven't really spoken like one-on-one really, and I've never met the guy actually either. But he messaged me one-on-one and said that he had a disc-only copy of G Darius on the PS1, and asked if I wanted it, because I'm the guy who, at first I used to collect disc-only, now I collect in-box, but I don't turn my nose up at disc-only because the vast majority of my collection is disc-only. But yeah, G Darius, he asked me if I wanted it, and this is a game that when I was younger I had the demo of it and I played a ton of it, but I never got around to getting the full game. It's just a sort of old school arcade style, like horizontal shooter, but it's it's got like polygonal graphics and stuff like that. It looks really nice actually for a PS1 game. And I played a ton of it on the demo, but never actually got around to buying the full game. And he was like, "Oh, I've got a load of loose games if you fancy them anyway." I think I needed all of them bar 2, so I said that I told him once. Gabby, shut up. I think I had all of them bar 2, so I told him the ones I didn't need. Said I'd take the rest if he didn't mind, but he ended up sending the whole stack. So the stack was there's Breakout on the PS1, which I have no idea what it is. I don't know if it's like the old Breakout where you got the paddle on the bottom and the things at the top to break. But if it is, I used to play hours of that on the PC back in the day. So it's always fun to break it out, completely unintentional. This is one that I thought I had, but it turns out I don't, and that's WWE 2K14 on the Xbox. I know I've got it digitally on the PS3. It's a good one to have actually. I know that WWE games, the old ones, are like 10 a penny, but that's the game. I bought it digitally on the PS3 on like a sale on a whim, and that game single-handedly got me not only into the wrestling games again, but it also got me back into wrestling as a whole again. I played that and I started watching TNA, I believe it was on Challenge TV at the time. Yeah, through watching TNA I then got back onto, I started watching the WWE pay-per-views. I'd find a place to stream them online, and then I moved on to watching Raw and SmackDown, and it kind of completely opened up wrestling to me again, because I'd not watched it since I was a really small kid. And yeah, super into it now. Well, I was not as much as I was. I watch pay-per-views now, but I used to watch like religiously. I'd watch TNA, Raw, SmackDown, NXT every week. I don't know how I had the time because that's like 12 hours of wrestling there, and then you've got pay-per-views to factor on top of that. But yeah, that game was responsible for all of that. There's Dexter's Laboratory, Mandork's Lab, question mark. That's that PS1, yep. Rayman Rush, which I think is the only Rayman game I don't already have, which is great. This is one that I definitely do already have, but it's still a nice game, and it looks in decent condition, so I might see if it's a condition upgrade, and that is Crash Nitro Kart on the PS2. I know I have it on the GameCube actually, I don't know if I have it on the PS2. This is one that I remember from one of my friends when I was younger, was a massive RPG fan. And I know he had this one on the PS2, and that's Summoner. Never really played it, looked a bit too taking itself too seriously to me, but I don't know. Toy Story Mania on the Wii. It's been a while since I've had a new Wii game. And this is this is the one that really caught my eye, because again, like G Darius, it's one that I played a lot of the demo and never actually got the original game, never got the full game, sorry. Despite the fact that I did really love it, and I loved the demo, and that is Cyberdeck, which is like sort of like a hoverboard based sort of racing platform game, kind of weird. It's like sort of Tony Hawk, but if I remember rightly, it's not on like an open sandbox, you're like on a course, a bit like these bonus levels in Sonic 2, but you're on these hoverboards and you're bouncing around, killing enemies, collecting things while you're doing it. It's a lot of fun. It was like one of those like really stylish like sort of nightclub games at the time, a bit like Wipeout. So yeah, it was like, if I remember rightly, so they had promotional condoms you get with the game as well, like to hand out in nightclubs and stuff. Back in the day, different time, completely different time. Absolutely stoked to have both that and G Darius, and all those games to be honest in my collection, but definitely that and G Darius. They packaged them also in two really knackered PlayStation cases, but these are for two games that I have the discs and don't have the box for. So these will end up on my shelf despite the fact that they are a bit knackered up. That's Dancing Stage Party Edition, and although there's no cover to it, there's still a spine driver too. So I will make use of these boxes as well, Ross. They're not just going to go in the bin. Moving on then, I had a little bit last time that I was going to trade in, and I don't do that often. I don't tend to get doubles very often, but I had a couple of double games I went and traded them in, and I traded it in for a game that I just kind of like stumbled across on the internet, and it looked really cool, and that is Troublebrook on the PS4. Would have probably preferred the Wii version, apparently the Switch version, sorry, apparently it runs really well as well. But this is, from what I can tell, it's a point and click game. It's set in Germany in the 60s, yeah, 60s, like an alternate universe, kind of like a sort of Fallout style, I think. You know, sort of 60s futuristic, if you get what I mean. It's a point and click game, and all the backgrounds are like handcrafted, like photographs of like handcrafted miniature sets, like, you know, like when you'd have like your granddad would have a train set in his attic or something like that, you know, that kind of thing. It looks really cool. The characters are like CG on top of that. So yeah, I've not played it yet, but I'm looking forward to getting to that at some point. One thing that really got me is, check this out, a booklet. Don't get that very often nowadays, but it's like, it's not really an instruction book, it's like a sort of art book / mini guide kind of thing. It's really cool. See, I'm looking forward to getting to that. I've never played it, never really even seen it played, but a couple of people have told me they've seen it they've played it, and it's quite good. So, and it looks really stylish. So I picked that up from CEX after trading in a couple of bits. I had a pre-order coming for a game that I was very much excited for, and that's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. It's like I've taken to coining the Saturday morning beat 'em ups, because there's, you know, stuff like Turtles. There's Toxic Crusaders coming out. I just love the tone of them more than anything. It's like they are like retro style beat 'em up games, which is like one of my favourite like genres of game anyway. But they are so sort of nostalgic for old school cartoons and stuff like that. This one is very nostalgic, and it's got a couple of like little Easter eggs to other beat 'em ups in it as well, which is really cool. There's like one bit you're in a toxic waste dump, and there's like a pool of toxic waste, and there's 4 turtles in it. What was the other bit? Oh yeah, you get super putties, which are really big putties with like multiple heads and stuff. And at one point I was fighting two of them dressed like Hugo and Andre from Final Fight. Just little things like that. I'd honestly say it's not as good as Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. It's not as good as that, but I don't think we're ever going to get one that is. For me, there's like the trio of modern beat 'em ups, like the royal family sort of thing, and that's Shredder's Revenge, Streets of Rage 4, and Scott Pilgrim. And they're like the high standard, and they're not. I don't think anything else has really come close. But that is fairly close, put it that way. It's as close as they come. I really enjoyed it. There's not as much replay value. Once you complete the game, you unlock the Green Ranger. So there is a little bit of replay value that way. You can level up your characters and stuff. But it is pretty much just going through the story again. This isn't just a beat 'em up where it's got like Space Harrier style vehicle sections. And then there's like weird first person boss fights that are a little bit punch outy and stuff like that, which really pissed me off at first until I got the hang of them, and then I could do them quite easily after that. But yeah, it's just a really cool game. You can tell thought's been put into it, and if you're into beat 'em ups, I would say it's a must play. So yeah, that's Power Rangers Rewind. Let's try and get it without any glare. There we go. Fully recommended for fans of the genre. This next one, I never planned to buy these really, but I'd been watching them on the Argos website because essentially our Sainsbury's has got an Argos in it, which I think most Sainsbury's have now. And I quite often go to Starbucks. I've got a gift card I'm chewing through, and me and my wife Susie, we like to go to Starbucks in an evening at the end of the week just to have a cup of coffee and wind down and sort of start the weekend off. It's our version of a date night really, but we normally go there and have a walk around Sainsbury's. But since we've been going there, I've been keeping my eye on offers for games on Argos, because occasionally they do some mad offers. And they've had like these two games in the same series, but one of them's been on the 2 for £22 offer, and one of them's been on the 2 for £25 offer for ages. They finally put them both into the 2 for £22, so I made the leap. Didn't really know what to expect from these. I'd seen adverts for them on TV and stuff, and never really liked the look of them. But I thought if I'm going to get the whole series, essentially, even though there's a new one coming out this year, if I'm going to get the whole series in 2 for £22, I will do. And that series would be the Little Nightmares series. So yeah, I got these for 2 for £22 from Argos. Complete edition of Little Nightmares 1 and Little Nightmares 2 on the PS4. PS5 version of Little Nightmares 2 was still on 2 for £25, but they dropped down the PS4 one. And yeah, I wanted to look at these because I'd heard them compared to things like Limbo and Inside, and I loved those games. And they are kind of like those, but you've got more sort of freedom of movement. It is chiefly left to right, kind of 2.5D, but you can sort of move in and out of the background and stuff like that. Like, you can move around a room that you go into. It's like really sort of horror based, but I didn't find it particularly scary, but it is very creepy and a bit sort of like gross at times. It's like body horror kind of stuff. Like people are deformed and malformed and stuff like that, and it's if that's the kind of thing that that gets you, then I suppose they would be quite scary. It's a little bit sort of Tim Burton-esque. Everything looks like it might be sort of stop motion animated, like clay models, that kind of thing. I played through Little Nightmares 1, the complete edition. I played through that, all the DLC and everything. The DLC was actually the best part of it as well. It's not what I'd call a relaxing play, put it that way. It is tense and it's unnerving, but like I said, not really like jump scary. So, yeah. I don't know whether I recommend it or not. I did enjoy playing it, I think. I think I would recommend it, especially if you do like Limbo and all that kind of thing. I recommend it to Sean Retro Games Revive because he loved Limbo and Inside and stuff like that. So, yeah, I've not played Little Nightmares 2 yet. But I'm going to sort of, like I said, it wasn't a relaxing or particularly almost enjoyable experience. So I am going to give it a rest before I start Little Nightmares 2. But it was... I can't even explain it. It's like I didn't enjoy it, but I did... I'm glad I played it, and I do want to play the second one and probably the third one when it comes out and and goes down in price a little bit. So yeah, I would say they're worth 2 for 22 quid, definitely. I think the Switch version of Little Nightmares 1 is down to 2 for 20 for some reason, but obviously you can't get the second one with that. So yeah, let's go on to a new console day, shall we? And surprise, surprise, drum roll please, it's the Nintendo Switch 2. Again, it's the Mario Kart World version we got as well, so we got a download code for Mario Kart as well. Wasn't ever really intending to get one of these. Well, not yet anyway. I inevitably would get one later on. The Switch 1 is my favourite Nintendo console of all time. I was talking to Susie, I think, on the Monday of the week it came out, and I was saying to her that I kind of want to buy one, just because I can, if you get what I mean. It's like there was nothing really I wanted for it to play at that time that I couldn't already get, or already had in most cases, on the current gen consoles. But for some reason I kind of wanted to buy one anyway, and she took that to mean that I really wanted one, and bless her, she was trying to get one and couldn't get any pre-orders anywhere. Thursday morning, the day it came out, she happened to go on Argos and they had some in stock on buy now collect at 4 PM, so she did that, and I came in from work and we had a Switch 2. It's a really nice little machine. I mean, I've played Mario Kart and a little bit of my next game I'm going to show you. We played quite a bit of Mario Kart. I've been playing it together, I've been playing it on my own. We've played it 3-player couch co-op, not 4. My sister wasn't into it. We've played it online with the 2 of us online as well, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of people being negative about it, but I think it's great. We skipped Mario Kart 8 on the Switch because we already had it on the Wii U, so I didn't really want to spend another 50 quid buying the same game again. Yeah, so it's been a while since we played a Mario Kart really, but we are having a blast with it, and it's just a really, really cool experience. The Switch 2 itself, in fact I've got it here just to show it off a little bit. You've probably already seen what it looks like though. It's more like sort of getting a phone upgrade than it is getting a new console, in my opinion. The interface and everything is exactly the same. It's just obviously, sort of better quality games, which we haven't really pushed to the limit yet, because Mario Kart, as great as it is, in my sort of rose tinted goggles, doesn't look that much better fit, in terms of appearance, than the last Mario Kart. And the other game I've got doesn't exactly push it to its limits either. But it's cool to be a bit more sort of future proof with the console. I've not played it handheld yet. It's just been in the dock. I'm still keeping my original Switch as it is. I've not transferred the data over for the main reason that you can't use your old nunchucks with Joy-Cons. You can't keep the old Joy-Cons with the new machine, and I splashed out on, in fact I've got my old Switch here too. I got these Hori split pad pros for playing it handheld. I can't, that really helps me because I find the controls a little bit too small, so it really helps having those on it, and I can't put them on this, so it's, for me, the Switch 1 is still going to be in use for quite a while. And even after I sort of lose use for it, I'm probably going to end up, when Nintendo stop updating it and stuff, I'm probably going to end up hacking it and doing all sorts with it. So it'll probably still keep it'll stay in use for a while. But yeah, it's got less of a bezel around the screen, which is great. I'm really liking, although it's the reason why I can't use the split pad on it, I'm really liking the sort of magnetic Joy-Cons. They're really tightly held as well. They're it's a really strong magnet. I thought there was 3 triggers on each, 3 shoulder buttons on each con, but one of them, if you press it in the side one there, it's got a little thing that pops out to push the magnets out, which I didn't realise at first, and I was just trying to wrench it off the console. But I think I did the same thing with the Joy-Cons on the original one. I was like, there's a little button where you press it and then slide it up, and I was just ragging it off like a friggin' animal. But yeah, really enjoying playing this at the minute. It's just generally just like the old one, but better, I suppose. I mean, I'm not going to be one of these who says that the launch lineup was a bad launch lineup, because I don't think it was. It was quite a strong launch lineup, but the only problem is that most of the games I already had on another system, and with that being the case, I did want a sort of physical game to hold in my hand, and not just a digital version of Mario Kart to play. So I went for the only game, well, one of two games I could see which I didn't already own. The other one was whatever Sonic games out on it. You can like what you want. I know Martin, the Geek Master, he loves his Sonic games, but to me, I've yet to play a 3D Sonic game that's been good. I do buy them. I tend to buy them when they're a few quid, which they do tend to go down to fairly quickly. But I've never really enjoyed one, not since like Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. I just don't think Sonic really translates too well to 3D. But so the only other game I could find which I didn't already own in some way, shape or form was Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. I can see why they dropped the Flying Fairy bit. Yeah, it's a Square Enix RPG. It's originally out on the 3DS, and you can tell by the graphics. The graphics are not really what you want from... I mean, I know graphics don't matter in terms of gameplay and stuff like that, but when I buy a new console, especially like a new sort of top, flagship console for a certain company, I like to buy games at first that will push the limits, and this one doesn't exactly, but it's still... I've played a couple of hours of it, and it's really fucking good. It's I'm really enjoying it. It's like an old school sort of Final Fantasy, like, sort of back in like sort of Final Fantasy 4 or 5 kind of time, 4, 5, 6, like the SNES ones. It's got like the job system. It's got a lot of themes from Final Fantasy, like the crystals, the Warriors of Light, airships and stuff like that. I honestly don't know what makes this not a Final Fantasy game. They should have stuck a chocobo in it, called it Final Fantasy. I've always thought that with other sort of Square Enix RPGs. I've always thought Forspoken, which is on my pile to try and give another go to, but the first time I played it I really didn't like it. It's sort of a different take on like fantasy game. You start off in a contemporary modern world and she gets sucked through a portal and ends up in a fantasy world. But why couldn't they have stuck some chocobos in that fantasy world and called it Final Fantasy? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Bravely Default is really fucking good. If you like your JRPGs, especially from that sort of time, I highly advise it. It's got a similar sort of visual style to the Final Fantasy 3 and 4, the DS versions of those games, like the DS remakes. It just feels like old school Final Fantasy, and I'm really enjoying it. It's got some quality of life upgrades and stuff like that, like being able to change the frequency of your random battles and stuff like that. It's well worth it, and it's not expensive either. You can get it for around 30 quid if you have a Switch 2. I think it's probably a little bit more like that, a bit more expensive on the 3DS. But yeah, my first Switch 2 box at least. I say at least because it's one of these new. Let's have a look. Because the cartridges on this one as well are... Let's have if I can get the thing off. The cartridges are nice and red as well this time. They look cool, nice and cute. Apart from that, they're exactly the same form factor as the original Switch cartridges. But it's one of the ones where the game is a sort of download code on the cartridge, and it's not physically on the cartridge, which has caused a lot of uproar. But it's only the exact same thing that Sony and Xbox and Microsoft have been doing for the last 2 generations. A lot of those games, you don't get the full game on the disc, or you just get a download code. I read something about the new Doom game that's coming out. It's only 85 megabytes of data on that disc, so the whole thing essentially is a download. So it's only the same thing they've been doing. The only difference is that Nintendo advertise that on the box, and Sony and Microsoft don't. So everyone who's outraged about that, really, there's no need to be. It's just the way our games are now. You've only got really one choice, and that's to just deal with it. So Bravely Default, that's my entire Switch 2 collection right now, so far. I'm not sure how thick and fast my Switch 2 collection is going to grow, because the games are fairly expensive, and it's going to be a while before many of them get too cheap, and there's also nothing out or on the horizon that I'm interested in buying, so we'll see how it goes. Might be a year or so before I start picking up on that. Last two, I've got one on the PS5, one on the PS4. This PS5 one, it's one I've been wanting for a while, and we got a new TV, by the way. Yeah, I had that week, it was the same week we got the Switch, and you know, a little bit of a heavy spending week. You can tell I've had a heavy spending week when I get a judgmental comment from Eddie Rollerco. I swear to God, he's like my mum for being judgmental about me spending my hard-earned cash. Well, me and Susie spending our hard-earned cash. We got a new TV. I've been wanting this game for a while, and I figure it's gonna, like, the new TV looks awesome. I've upgraded to QLED. I don't know how you pronounce it because I'm not a tech guy, but yeah, we've upgraded to that. It's slightly bigger, and honestly, the picture quality looks so much better. It's only 5 inches bigger, but it looks so much bigger. Sorry, I've got some backing vocals from one of the knobheads that lives on the street at the minute. And it's probably living around here, like in close-knit houses, like we live in a terrace, so you get a lot of dobbers around here. You just sit and scream at the kids in the garden as soon as weather gets nice. Anyway, yeah, where was I? Yeah, I wanted to go in for a bit. This new TV looks friggin' amazing. We've been, like, you know, every game we've played on it, it's got like a really cool game mode on it, which comes on automatically when you change to your console, and it just makes the games really pop. So, you know, one game I've been wanting to play on it, which I think could look really good, is The Last of Us Part 1, the PS5 remake. It's always been far too expensive for me. I've never seen it go below 40 quid. And for a game that I've already bought twice, I didn't really want to spend that much on it. But on the Days of Play sale on the game collection, it went down to £31 and something. And I thought that was a little bit much. But then I realised I had just over a £5's worth of points on game collection, so it was just under £26 I got this for. It's since dropped to sub £30 on Amazon. It's down to like $29.99, and I think Paul Eaton Overner, he picked it up in Smith's for 30 quid. So it is creeping down, but not as cheap as what I got it for, crucially, because I still don't think 30 quid. I don't think I would have paid that. I wanted ideally about 20, but I thought 25 was decent. So yeah, The Last of Us, it's already, I know, I've played through it 4 or 5 times already. I know it's one of the best games I've ever played, but this is going to be the best looking version of one of the best games I've ever played. And I might get into it this week while I've got a week off work, although Bravely Default is looking like it's going to chew up a lot of my time. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what Joel and Ellie's up to again. And since I've got that as well, because The Last of Us Part 2 remaster I wasn't interested in, because I think all it does is shorten some load times and add some PlayStation 5 controller magic to it. You know, the DualSense stuff, the triggers and the haptic feedback and stuff like that, which, although it's nice, it's not essential. So I wasn't interested in picking that up really, but since I've seen the cover of this and the cover of Part 2, and this sort of, if you stand them next to each other, it's got the Ellie from the older Ellie looking that way, and then where Joel stood there, it's got whatever her name is, Abby, stood on the opposite side, and it's cool to have them together. So The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is now on my radar. I've got a list on Amazon, a wish list of games, because I'm trying not to pre-order stuff anymore because it's far too expensive and quite often I don't get to them. And so I've got a list and I'm watching the prices, and when they drop to a certain point, that's when I'm going to buy them. And I'm adding to the list quicker than I am taking off. But speaking of, this is a bit of a congrats to me for a start. There's one more game. It was the cheapest game on my list, and I added it because Eddie mentioned it the other week. Back onto the Limbo and Inside chat, Eddie mentioned it. He was recommending it to Sean, Retro Games Revived, and I thought it looked cool, so I added it to my wish list. And I've said to myself, we've started a couple of weeks ago. We've started sort of eating better. I've tried all kinds of diets. You know, ones where you're constantly counting stuff and you get obsessed with what you should be eating and what you can and can't. And last time I tried to lose weight, I just decided I wasn't going to bother with that shit. I was going to eat what Susie was making for the meals, and I wasn't going to. But when I was out of work and stuff, I wasn't going to bother trying to count everything that I was eating there. All I was going to do is cut out. We weren't having takeaways anymore, and I was cutting out snacks. No chocolate, no crisps, no bread, no sugar, no added sugar. Put it that way. So yeah, I tried that last time. I lost like £8 in the first week, which I thought was great. Maybe £10, I think it was actually. And then Did really well the second week too, but then we started having takeaways and stuff again, and it fell by the wayside. But I'm trying that again now because essentially, I'm 40 now. I need to start looking after myself a little bit better. And I said to myself, every time I lose a stone, I'm going to buy the cheapest game on my Amazon wishlist as a little reward. Even if I'm not looking to buy games, which I'm not in a minute, because I've got quite a lot of games I need to go through. So I started doing that 2 weeks ago. And in my first week, I lost a stone and half a pound. So, yeah, quicker than I thought, I bought a new game off my list, and that was the cheapest game on my list, which was Never Song on the PS4, which looks like a sort of, it's another 2D adventure, sort of dark, gothic kind of Tim Burton-y adventure, a little bit like Limbo. Looks really interesting, and crucially as well, the main character is called Pete, which appeals to me, obviously. It doesn't happen very often. I know very little about it, but it was like £13. So that's waiting to be played. And I hope it's good, because if not, I'm coming for you, Eddie. And that's everything. I'm sorry it's been very sort of rambly. If anybody wants to leave me negative comments about my weight, because I mentioned dieting, and wants to call me a fat bastard, then go for it. Because you're only wasting your own time, and any engagement is good engagement. Thanks for watching. I hope you like what I do. If you do, then please stick around. If you don't, then so be it. There's been a lot of talk about the YouTube scene dying lately, and I think it has, and I think, that's probably why I've not been that interested in making videos lately, because I'm still getting the interest that I used to, but not the subscribers, if you get what I mean. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to me anyway. I'm only doing this for my own enjoyment. It just helps to be spurred on a little bit every so often. If you like what I'm doing, then please stick around. If you don't, then so be it. It's your prerogative, as Brittany would say. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.